session, but we're going to talk about field service management, but we want really to talk about the future of field service management and dream a little bit all together, but also then going back to the reality, because we have to make things happen. I'm super happy to be facilitating this workshop together with OverIT, because you will discover, I think you have a slide where we are considering them among the leaders in this space, and they're doing very interesting things. And the second reason I'm particularly honored is because to open the discussion, we will have Paolo, the CEO of OverIT, who is Italian. He lives in the US, and he has a super interesting personal story. So sorry to put you a little bit on the spot. During the cocktail,
I'm gonna blush.
During the cocktail and dinner, asking about all the amazing things he has done in his career, because he was starting as a visiting professor in the UCLA, you see that. Then he started a startup, a new company, but then he was not happy, and then he moved into buying and joining Salesforce, where he was working for 15 years almost, and he was creating the first app for the App Store. And then, of course, he started looking into field service because he discovered that that's a very interesting thing, and linear assets especially are very special. And then Click Software was purchased, and so he was the product manager for all the things that Salesforce was doing into that space. And many other things. So ask him, because he has a very interesting story to tell you about. And then a few years ago, he was asked to take the role of the CEO of this Italian company, OverIT, that is now playing in many countries across the world and has a very interesting way of looking at field service management. So, Paolo, the floor is yours. I hope you are not.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Roberta, for the presentation, and thank you all for being here today and dedicating us 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes or so. I often feel like that when you work on a project, when you work in these industries, we are so stuck with daily activities that we actually forget about the greater mission we all have. And it's a very important mission. And I want to start from there. First of all, I want to remind everyone the context of the days we live in today. Think about it for a second. Climate change. All the conversations we have around the climate change are very important. They remind us that it's a good thing and it's the right thing to do to actually generate green energy, but why not to use the energy in a smart way, right? The second part is there are wars, not just the Ukraine war. There's multiple wars going on, and these wars for sure have reshaped or redefined the, let's say, geopolitical alliances around the world, but also changed the path of energy and the cost of energy all around the world as well. Right. And the third part is energy consumption is increasing. Actually, you said it earlier in the presentation, Roberta. Like, think about it. For as much as we pretend to feel green and thoughtful, the truth is that there's more and more services we want to use, and all these services actually use a lot of energy. Think about all the new services in smart cities, for instance, just to mention one, right? Virtually, you have so many new services, virtually 24/7, and virtually in any spot, in any point of the city, right? And none of us is really saying, I'm gonna get rid of the big car, I'm gonna go to the small car. No, I want an electric car, but big car. As well as we all want to use AI, more and more so. And even if you don't want to, your phone is using a shitload of AI, actually. I mean, that's the truth. And that one is, and AI, now we know that AI is really power hungry, right? So all of this is just a little bit of context. And so all of us working in these industries actually are facing major challenges. And I picked just three of the challenges we are going through, which is, good context for what we're gonna talk next. Assets. Truth is, energy demand is increasing, and we have a very obsolete infrastructure running as capacity of this demand, right? So we need to squeeze every single drop of juice out of the existing asset, the existing infrastructure, right? At the same time, we are doing electrification of gas. We're also reconverting gas pipelines into hydrogen and so forth. And we need to expand more and more, the network, the grid, with better grid, but more intelligent grid, more connected grid. And all of this is happening, right? This is a very complex world and asset expansion. The second part is the customer centricity. I just mentioned, we want to use more and more services, right, all around us. Smart cities being one of them. But think about, even 20 years ago, we couldn't even dream of generating electricity at home and sell it back to the grid. That's a completely new concept that we need to fulfill as a purpose, but at the same time, all of this needs to be easily consumable through the mobile phone. Let's be honest, Amazon screwed us all, right? Because they set the bar of the customer experience so high that we need to follow now. And we need to figure out to do this in completely new world. And to be honest with you, it's a little easier for Amazon than these complex projects, right? If you really, I'm not saying it's easy for Amazon, just to be clear. But third part is resource scarcity, and this is probably one of the biggest pain points we have in these industries. We know that the grid today has been maintained by older generation people. They're about to retire. And these people have an incredible brain and incredible knowledge, and they know exactly how the grid works. And there is no way in hell we can extract all their knowledge and from their brains. And even if we did so, the truth is that we can't find young people they want to join the forces and take those type of jobs, because they're hard jobs, but most importantly because they're not digital. There's no sex appeal for this. I should say sex, but there's no appeal in these type of jobs for the younger generations, right? This is the world we live in today, right? Now, this is already challenging. Let me take a step back. Let's go back to the original problem. Think about the complexity. The simple gesture, like flipping the switch, the light switch, hides in the back end. Kilometers and kilometers of copper wires, low voltage posts, mid voltage, high voltage, transformers, load balancers, generation, power plants, nuclear power plants, hydro, carbon fossil. Okay? This is an incredible system. And yet, every time you flip the switch, it works. This is a true miracle. Think about it. Think about the complexity. We forget about this. I know individually you all know this, but we forget about this, right? We do forget about this. And it's a true miracle. And I truly hate that we call these things commodities. What the hell? How is this possible? We take these things for granted, and they're not that simple, right? And it's true for electricity, it's true for water, it is true for gas, it is true for internet, you name them, right? If these things disappeared, our lives will go back 300 years, 200 years, let's say. Isn't it true? Right? And yet, we will cope with it, right? If we were consumers, let's say. But think about what happens if electricity suddenly disappears in an airport or in a hospital. That would be quite literally a catastrophe. So who does the miracle here? Who does the miracle of the, flipping the switch? Well, 50% is the brilliant engineering design, right? Someone actually thought through the entire network, the entire grid, from generation all the way to distribution and then last mile, right? But that's only 50% of the miracle. Think about it. That as perfect that the network was built, over the years, it wears out and eventually stops working, right? And yet, the miracle happens all the time. So what is the other 50% of the miracle? The other 50% of the miracle is that millions of technicians, field technicians, that every day wake up and go to work in really rough conditions, weather conditions, fire conditions, earthquakes even, and they make sure the miracle can happen again and again. right? This is really my focus. This is my purpose. How do we make these are the real silent heroes? Remember we talked about the Amazon truck drivers as the heroes during COVID. These are the forgotten heroes that every day wake up, right? And these are true silent heroes that we forget about. And these people do need help. We can make them a lot more efficient. We can turn them from heroes to superheroes, quite literally, with technology. And this is what we do. This is what we can do for them. We can do field service management software. You see the orange box, which has 3 subcomponents. Asset maintenance. We need to be very smart about how we schedule the predictive maintenance, right? We need to make sure we send them out often enough to do proactive inspections before the network stops working, but not too often at the same time because that's a waste, right? The other part is resource optimization. The night before, every day, the night before, you have to do the perfect schedule to send the right technician with the right skills, with the right spare parts in the van, to the right location at the right time, taking into account traffic. Why not, right? And sure enough, you have the perfect plan the night before, and the morning after you wake up, guess what happens? There is an emergency, and now you start rescheduling not the entire workforce, but some of it, right? Breaking some SLAs maybe. And the third piece is the mobile app of the technicians. They need to be prepared where they're going so they can get the entire schedule and see what spare parts they need to pick up. At the same time, they want to have routing directions to get on destination at the right time and so forth. And most importantly, they need to be able to quickly fill out all the information or take all the information of all the work they've done so that the asset maintenance system has fresh information and the loop starts again. Right? This is not it. In the new world, in a more recent world, more disruptive technology world, there's field collaboration. Just imagine that we can power these heroes with augmented reality. At least they look at the asset, and the augmented reality can tell them what's wrong with the asset. And then if they cannot fix the problem by themselves, they can also ask for help at headquarters. That's field collaboration. And eventually, this is about the network. It is about the grid. And you need a minimum to be able to reconcile the information you have on your GIS in your, we don't know what GIS is, right? All the geographical information you have in the system. Reconcile what you have in your database, in the digital twin, if you will, with what was actually built. And there is always discrepancy. And minimum, you need to reconcile that. But more important, the technician can help you to do that, right? At the same time, this is the simple use case. But at the end of the day, you can really build an entire system to build a control room and monitor everything, right? These are all the beautiful tools we can build for the technicians to turn them from heroes to superheroes, right? Now, I also want to say, the elephant in the room, when I talk about maintenance, people think it's boring, okay? Isn't it true? That's another thing that bugs me a lot. Is it really boring?
Mensaje para mecánico.
Carlos, tenemos una alarma en el Sodrive.
Copiado. Me estoy dirigiendo al punto. Enciende linterna. Visualiza el modelo del motor nivel Zoom 3. Llama Control Room.
Hi, how may I help you?
I need your help for solving an issue related to the blower. Please share with me the electrical drawing.
Let me share it with you. The knowledge management system suggests you take a look at the blower assay. There is evidence a similar issue has been previously solved successfully. Please have a look at component 17. All set. Everything looks fine on my end.
Thank you so much for guiding me. Hoy también resolví un problema.
Carlos, hemos resuelto un gran problema en equipo.
This video always makes me smile. I don't know why. Look, there's so much disruptive technology that can be applied to field service management. It's truly unreal. In fact, if you stop for a second, you really realize that we don't really market this type of tools. I mean, they're all here. Think about it. You need machine learning for asset maintenance. You need to be very predictable when to dispatch a technician to go see an inspection. But you also need machine learning to actually make sure you learn how much it takes for a specific technician to do a specific job, so you can do a lot more predictable in the scheduling, right? I don't have to explain to you augmented reality. You just saw it. The video was a great. By the way, the video was great. Was developed with a customer of ours, in case you wonder. And you can see it was a blend of augmented reality and IoT data coming straight into the visor of the technician, right? Imagine how powerful this is, right? And of course, voice. How important is voice in these types of technologies for safety reasons, more importantly, and also to make sure you don't miss data, because if you do the brief at the end of the day, you may lose some information, you may forget about some piece of information, right? I'm going to take a step forward. More and more customers are asking us to actually capture all the videos from the smart helmet. That would be with millions and millions of hours of videos. That's the way we extract knowledge from the brains of the older technicians and make them available in a augmented reality, in a virtual reality type of fashion for training. Right? So all of this is possible today. But there's more. Drones. That's the new way. That's really when the heroes becomes superhumans, androids, right? You start dispatching drones. These drones have an incredible feature, right? They have a completely different perspective, and they can mount sensors that the human eyes don't have, right? As well as robots. We started small. We are experimenting with robots for small inspections into unsafe places. Could be, gas pipes, for instance. But in a future not too far, not too remote, we will have robots actually starting fixing things, right? There's not a question that the future of field service management at some point will be actually dispatching more robots than humans, and that's good for safety overall. Okay? Now, here's the problem. All these things, you don't do these type of disruptive technologies as a living, you specifically, you don't. Right? These things are complex, right? So how do you leverage them? Well, you do need a partner that harnesses all the capabilities of these incredible technologies and offering a field service management software for you. And this is the focus of our company. OverIT wants to be your trusted digital partner for mission-critical operations in linear asset industries. This is all we do. Energy utility, oil and gas, telco, and transportation. This is what we do. We try to make the silent heroes superheroes, right? And actually, we have over 200 customers all around the world that are already trusting us to be their trusted partner for for mission critical operations in linear assets. And you can see them. I do believe today we have ADOEA in the room, SNAM in the room, and EMBV, I believe, in the room. But there's just 3 of them. Many customers they already chose us. Why did they choose us? Very simply, because again, our focus, linear assets. Look, I've been, as Roberta mentioned before, I've been in a company that used to, or that does provide a general purpose type of platform. And that's great for many use cases. It just doesn't cut for complex operations in linear assets. It just doesn't. Okay? So that's all we do. We want to be the best in class, and we're going to stay in the perimeter of field service management, maybe a little bigger than field service management, but that's our core. We're not going to try to do CRM. We're not going to try to do asset management and so forth. This is what we want. There is a need in the space for this type of solutions, highly verticalized. And also, it's equally important that our platform does come out with local regulations in mind. You know this. I don't have to explain this, right? And the other part is that we really focus on enterprise size implementations, right? If I can drill down a little bit more on the platform itself, this is like at the company level, but the platform level, our products level, we have 3 pillars, and I can spend like 2 hours to talk just about this, but just follow me. Like the industry focus on depth. We don't sell the scheduler, we don't sell the mobile application, we sell vegetation management solutions. We provide, mutual aid type of solutions. Does it make sense? And equally important, business continuity is something that it is important for these industries, right? And so we actually architect the solution a completely different way from most SaaS vendors that try to really minimize the cost for them, let's say. And we will let you upgrade the software. It's a SaaS solution, but we will let you upgrade the software at your own pace. So we don't risk to push out a upgrade while you are going through a wildfire, potentially breaking integrations, and then it's trouble for everyone. And the third part is mostly these industries, I love working in these industries. I feel blessed to be working in these industries, with these industries. Why? Because mostly people don't compete with each other. These companies don't compete with each other. They tend to help each other, in fact. This is very unique. And as a product person, this is very important because I can get the best brains in the room and actually design the product they really need. That's not common if you really think about it, if you look at all the industries together, right? All of this, with this perspective, we've been recognized, and I'm really thankful for IDC to putting us actually in the leader quadrant of the IDC Marketscape for FSM for utilities specifically. We are in fact the most to the right. I'm really, really thankful for this, but I promise you we did sponsor this event after they gave us the score. So
but we were not changing it because
in case you wonder. One more thing, actually. Guys, this is OverIT. We want to be your trusted digital partner for mission critical operations in linear asset industries. We do help you run the vital system, the mission critical infrastructure. We do it with sustainability in mind. We do enable the energy transition, but also we really reduce carbon footprint because of efficiency of the technicians on the ground, right? But now when you think about the platform we provide, it's even more important in case of a humanitarian crisis. Think about it for a second.
In today's world, humanitarian emergencies are escalating due to armed conflicts, natural disasters, and the devastating impacts of climate change. In these moments, humanitarian organizations are the beacons of hope, but igniting that hope is far from easy. Delivering aid in these environments is a race against numerous obstacles. complex distribution networks, transportation hazards, damaged infrastructures, and emotional distress. Yet, there is a way to overcome these challenges. Field service management technology addresses the needs of humanitarian organizations as the driving force behind any collective change effort. Whether it be logistics, food delivery, wash, health, shelter, communications, or education, OverIT is the trusted digital partner for mission-critical operations, bringing field service management expertise and innovation to empower humanitarian organizations in managing priorities and ensuring help arrives where it is needed, when it is needed, building a fairer, more equitable, and sustainable world. Together.
Here it is, in a case of a humanitarian crisis, whether it's weather-related, whether it's an earthquake, a natural disaster, a war, just to build up a refugee camp, you do need to restore infrastructure, electricity, water, drinkable water. You need to deliver goods. All of this, if you think about it, this is field service management at best. And this is why, with this idea, with this concept in mind, we actually decided to start our philanthropic program, which is called Tech for Aid. And it's got 3 simple pillars. We provide our platform to nonprofits that deal with humanitarian crises. We do also provide our expertise, not just as a software implementation, but also just in general logistics. Our guys are great in logistics. And the third one, we actually hire tech-skilled refugees from all over the world. I hope I give you a little bit of inspiration today, not just in terms of dealing with climate change and energy transition, but also, really important issues like humanitarian aid, and thank you for your attention.